Martha, back with you. We're going to do some bar work today. A couple of things that you want to think about if you want a chair for a little bit of stability. Additionally, if you have a band, awesome. You can use that at the end for some stretching. If you don't, this is a t-shirt that I have rolled up into a bit of a band itself. So if you've got kind of a long sleeve shirt. Also, you might want socks or you might want to be barefoot. Totally up to you. And last but not least, we're going to do some arm work today. So I have my two weights. Of course, these are not weights. These are bottles of liquid. So if you have weights, fantastic, use them. If you don't have weights, you can still do all the arm work that we do without holding any weights, or, you know, fill up a couple bottles of water and we'll be good to go. We're going to start with a warm up. So grab your mat, grab your things, whatever, and we will begin. We're going to start with your legs open, externally rotated. We're going to take a nice long stretch over here, just starting to get that warm up and that movement through the body. So as you're going here, make sure that you're not going into a really deep, long stretch. This is about starting to move the spine, kind of opening up, waking up across the hips. Again, just moving side to side. Feel that lateral body stretch, open up as you go. One more time. Breathe it out. Connect in with the breath here. Try to feel the length through your spine. We're going to go up and over and down to our leg here. So if you need to kind of open the legs a little bit more, stretch a little bit differently, please do. Release that head over as you're here, making sure you're really released through the head and neck area. We're going to shift to the center. Again, nice release, hanging here for just a little bit, and to the other side. We're going to stay here and bend into the knees here and just kind of keep reaching. Feel that length through your side body. Go back through center and then reach over to the other side. Reaching those fingers long, just kind of helping to open up across that shoulder through the lats and serratus. We're going to come back to center here, and you can bring your elbows up, and we're just going to do a little shift side to side, starting to get a little bit of heat and movement through the hips and knees. You want to drop to one side. Now here we want to be careful that we're not going super deep. The knee is in alignment with the toes. Kind of look for that second and third toe. If you want, you can turn your leg out. If it's more comfortable to have your foot down, have it down. Totally up to you. And then we're going to shift on over to the other side. Again, aligning the knees with the feet, playing with that rotation if you'd like to. Remembering, this is just our warm-up. So we're going to go kind of easy through the joints here, shifting side to side, feeling the crease across the hip, feeling the opening through the ankles, the knees, the full leg. We're going to stop to one side and go into a little rotation so that we find a bit of a lunge. So remembering when you lunge, your knee stays right over your ankle here, and that we're just kind to the joints. I'm going to step my back foot in a little bit and do a little bit of a stretch through the leg and then back forward again. So movement here is light and easy, no bouncing, lots of lengthening, and noticing the sensations moving through your body here. Just where you're at today. Are you sore from something else? Have you been sitting around with the quarantine of COVID for a little too long? Are you tense from that? Again, reposition yourself to the other side, and that same thing happens. We stretch through it and we bend through it. Again, opening up across the joints. Nothing super intense. Now I'm going to stay here and step my leg back. I haven't been telling you left or right, just because I think that can be confusing depending on how you're looking and how you're thinking, but hopefully you can still follow along. but we're gonna be in a downward dog. So as you come to your downward dog, start to tread through the feet, bend across the knees. You might even kind of shift across your hips a little bit, feeling free to kind of open up through the lower body. Since we're going to be focusing on that a lot with our bar work here, we want to find that fluidity, that mobility, and that ease across the joints. Focusing on your upper body, roll those shoulders outwards. You're going for that outward rotation. The inside of the elbows are turned toward each other. The palms are flat, so you want to kind of cup in the center of the palm, but reach those fingers long. And then feel again the length of the spine. The head reaching away from the tail, your belly button reaching toward your toes, lengthening that spine out. Finishing that, both heels down, shift your weight forward and find your plank position. I always like to come here and kind of set the tone for the workout in finding the form here, feeling the core getting a little bit of warmth and heat and radiation through it. Shift that weight forward and back, head through toes, feeling kind of that reach through the crown of the head, that lengthening through the heels behind, and then that carving out through the abs here. We want to again remember that we don't want to sink into that chest, push that floor away, feel that strength through your body and tighten up your abs. We're going to lower our knees down, pull the hips back, and stretch into a child's pose. Feel that stretch. Hang here for a moment. If your wrists are feeling a little bit weak, I just have weak wrists, that's me, then you might roll them around a little bit. And remember that whenever we do come into those plank positions, you can always be in kind of a forearm plank rather than that full arm plank. So make the workout work for you. Since you have to do it, make it work for you, right? Here we're gonna roll it through the spine, feel that stretch and length through the body, and then we are gonna begin getting into some of our leg stuff. So if you wanna grab your socks because you like socks, or if you wanna set your chair up a little bit, do so. I'm gonna fold my mat in half here, and I'm gonna try it with some socks. So if you're doing socks, great, grab yours. I'm grabbing mine. These socks say slay all day, but kind of feels more like lay all day in quarantine status. We are going to be swinging that leg behind, so you do want to make sure that you have some space behind you. And I'm going to just rotate just a little bit so that you can kind of see that swing going through my back. That's not going to start just yet, but for the sake of things, coming to that first position, heels together, toes apart, we're going to start with a tendu dégagé series. So I'm going to be out to the side. I'll just rotate to that swing when we come to it. And reach that foot forward. So you're pointing that foot forward and back as you go. Just a little bit of mobility through those feet, warming up the toes. You're pointing to that foot, sliding that heel forward and back, feeling the rotation through your leg, your hip. We're going to do a few more here. This is 3 and 2. For the sake of things, I always try to do things in tens because I'm going to be talking and I'm not always going to be counting. And sometimes I'm just going to be working hard. Okay, so here we shift into a dégagé. So that leg lifts off. 9. Try to draw up through the center. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to go to this side, back to our tendu. You're pointing through the toe. Now in this, like, you know, I'm not like your major ballerina gal. You don't have to be a ballerina to like do bar work. Your goal from that first position is to send your foot out right from where your toes are pointing. So you're not going way to the side the way you normally might think of it. Breathe with it. Stay tall through the spine. We have 3, 2. We're going to go into our dégagé and we lift off. 9, 8, 7, 6,
5, 4. You're pushing, brushing those feet through the floor. And last one, and now we're gonna go to the back. We're gonna point that toe behind and return forward. Keep breathing, stay tall through the spine. Draw up through the abs. We have 5 more. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. We go into our dégagé. We reach to that foot. I am running into the wall. Don't mind if my head gets cut off here, you guys. No big deal. Breathe it out. We have 5, 4. You might feel this in your standing leg. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Coming back forward in front of you, we're going to lift that leg up. Keep reaching through the arm. Feel free to change it if you need a little change in the position here. And small pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go to the side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Try to draw up through the abs. 2, 1, and then we're going to go to the back. And again, I'm running into the wall, so I'll rotate a little. 9, 8, 7. Keep the abs strong. Stay tall in the spine. Lift through that standing leg. We have 3, 2, and 1. And we're going to come back to the center. Now we want to do a little release swing. So that's what I was talking about before. If your standing leg is feeling tense, feel free to do a little figure 4 glute stretch. That's what I'm going to do right there. But in our release swing, we're still we're still in our first position. You're just swing that foot forward and back. It's really about letting that leg kind of open up, feeling that release, noticing the way that your femur, your thigh bone, just kind of hangs out of your hips. And we'll stop here. I'm going to turn back to face towards you again. We're going to take that leg behind. This is a little bit of a fourth. It's a not quite perfect fourth because I'm going to cross behind a little bit and do a bend into both knees, trying to keep those hips still square and that weight centered between the feet. And I'm going to swing from there. So bend and release. Looking to find, again, that rotation through both of the legs. Now don't worry if your form isn't one of the ballerinas. Certainly you can see that mine is not. The goal here is to find that rotation through the hips, make sure the knees staying in alignment with the toes, and find that release through the body. Feel your core strong. We're going to do 2 more. And then we're going to stay here. Now you have your knee bent. This is a little bit of a rotation. We're going to do pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I need a little bit of stretch. I'm going to cross that ankle at the knee, sit back, stretch out into the glute of my standing leg because I was doing a lot of work there. Just in stabilizing. We sometimes forget that our stabilizing leg is actually doing work by sitting still. Sometimes we just gotta focus on that and try to lift out of that standing leg. And then go ahead and just kind of try to cross both of those feet. You can kind of bend into that back knee, stretch out through the hip if you're feeling any tension there. Good. We're gonna continue on. Just one thing I gotta fix on my phone real quick like.